Hello, everybody. Hope you're all having a good new year. Hope that things were, if you were out last night, you're not too drunk. I know it's kind of early, but I don't drink, and I figured let's just get this out of the way. The early bird catches the worm. If people are looking for coverage of this later in the day, then they can find this. I don't think a lot of the other people have done it yet, so let us cover Phil for the new year. So I guess before we get into Phil, maybe just a couple bits of housekeeping for myself. I just wanted to, as always, thank all of you. I love you guys. You guys are great, and gals too. I have a couple of girls who watch me, not too many, but I just wanted to say it's been a very positive year on YouTube. I've seen a lot of growth. We've had a lot of ups and downs. We had that whole thing with the Yandere dev. I did the Evangelion commentary videos and I got those done. I did the Imperial Civil War series. I got my new mic. Overall, I think I'm getting better over time. Well, for the new year, I'm going to hopefully switch to a bi weekly schedule. So we're going to have like 1 week will be like reactionary review, political video, character profile. Then the second week will be like sci-fi pulsi, a history video, and the China economy strong. The idea being to try to make sure everything gets updated at least a couple times a month, because people complain, and I'm not saying this like as a mockery. I think this is very legitimate that I just don't update certain things often enough. And that's kind of my fault for having so many series, but people also like the variety. So people do complain that I don't update sci-fi pulsi enough, and I think they're right. So hopefully if we switch over to kind of a system like this, then again, given like sometimes just stuff happens, or I see like a movie, and I want to get a review out while it's topical. So there'll be some exceptions, but fingers crossed, we'll see how that goes. Once again, like I said, I love you guys. I just want to thank each and every one of you for taking time out of your day, and I hope you get something out of my content. If you enjoy it, you learn something, it helps you out in any way, even if it's just to have a bit of a laugh. I really appreciate it. It means the world to me. It really does. And let's hope we have a positive year going into 2019, as positive as we had the last year. So, just wanted to say, God bless you all. Thank you so much. Let's stop the with the actual positivity, and let's move on to the fake positivity, which is our buddy Phil. Um, Dave Bennett says, "Love your stuff, dude. Happy New Year, buddy. Happy New Year to you too, my friend." Let me see here. Did I screw this up in the chat boxes? I think I did. Oops. There we go. There we go. So I watched this earlier. Most of this is just him talking about the last year, which is good because I kind of felt like I had to do something to review the last year. The issue, though, is getting it all together is a pain. And I don't mean to like complain, but I got to give a bit of credit to the people who do like the 5 video a day DSP channels. It takes time to go through everything and then to like edit it together and to like render it. Like on my Life is Strange playthrough took like 20 hours to render because it's like 13 hours long. But yeah, so let's begin. This is Phil talking about the year in review. And if you hear me drinking, I have some coffee. Oh, let me know if the audio balance is okay.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen,
If Phil seems like even more of a crackhead than usual, it's because I have this on higher speed.
welcome back to my New Year's Eve podcast for 2018. I'm DSP. Again, apologies, I am under the weather, and sadly you're going to hear me clearing my throat and coughing and blowing my nose and doing all kinds of bleh stuff during this podcast. It is what it is. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's already been a part 1. You're going to want to go watch that before you watch part 2. We're talking about my Christmas experience and also my thoughts on Infinity War, the movie. Okay?
Why would anyone care about his thoughts on Infinity War? And why does Phil refuse to do movie reviews? Because like he watches so many movies. Oh, hello, Samuel. Good to see you too. Why does Phil refuse to do movie reviews? Because this dude watches so many movies. He watches like more movies than I do because he doesn't really have a job, and he watches so many TV shows. Why doesn't he do like what I do with, I don't know, reaction reviews or whatever? He doesn't have the same issue I do with not wanting to like show my face or my identity. So he can do like hand gestures. He can wave his arms and stuff. So it's not as big a deal if he doesn't have like edited clips. All he needs to do is really just like wave his, like all he has to do is just turn on the camera and like just act crazy for 20 minutes and he'd get views off of that. So I don't really get it.
All right, I'm back. So segment 2 of the podcast. What's this?
Okay, so just to respond to Barry Big Plum's Fishing's comment. So with regards to Phil, I kind of feel, and there are people who appreciate it, I don't know if I'd call myself a detractor per se, because I do mock him a lot and like make fun of him. But I think I also am more fair. Like I acknowledge that people do fuck with him and that it's not right, like what some of the people do to him. I also acknowledge that some things, like particularly with regards to YouTube and Twitch, are beyond his control. And granted, his extremely bad planning made that much worse. But like I get tired of people like, oh, YouTube, it's not YouTube's fault, Phil, it's yours. Well, a lot of time it is Phil's fault because YouTube is really poorly run, and it is a very flawed, dysfunctional system. So it's like when it comes to that, he does have a point, because like a lot of the things he complains about, I have the same issues with, even if it's just like interface things. And it's frustrating because YouTube could be a lot better if Google just spent a bit more time and money developing it properly, but they don't. So I'm saying, like, in general, I guess you could say I'm a detractor, but I more just find it fascinating. Let's go on.
This is going to be me talking about 2018. All right, what I want to do is take some time to sit back, talk about this year, how it went, both personally, professionally, let you know a lot of the stuff that behind the scenes I don't often talk about, because a lot of people want to know what's going on, how's stuff going, what's going to happen in the future, depending on what happened this year, okay? So, I'm going to talk about a lot of things for the very first time in this segment of the podcast. Now, if you don't care about this, maybe you don't. Maybe you're just someone who, I wanted to hear Phil's opinions on Christmas, I want to hear about what game.
Why would a guy like Phil wear a white shirt? I hate white t-shirts. I don't think I've ever worn a white t-shirt. The couple times I put them on, I just like, eh. If you want to know, I'm wearing my Legend of Zelda green Triforce t-shirt at the moment.
I don't really care about the behind-the-scenes stuff. Then that's fine. I'm just going to tell you guys right up front, this is not a part that you're going to want to watch.
Should have put on my Cobra Kai one.
However, I do feel that I have a personal connection with a lot of my viewing audience, and there are people who actually care about me and want to genuinely know how I'm doing, know what's going on behind the scenes.
No, but he said, like, and this is part of the issue. He said repeatedly this year, I'm not going to tell you what's going on behind the scenes. I'm not going to tell you about my personal life. I'm not going to tell you any of this stuff. Actually, no, sorry, that's wrong. I do wear white. I wear white and red checkered shirts sometimes, like button-up shirts. So yeah.
By the way, I have to be careful about what I say here, because as you guys know, one of the major changes I made this year was how much I revealed to you guys. Okay, we'll talk about that in just a moment.
So, like, yeah, once again, he's like, okay, the things that are changing this year is I'm not going to tell you guys anything, but I'm going to tell you guys everything.
All right. Actually, I received a $1 anonymous tip.
Whoa, $1.
Whoever that was an anonymous $1 tipper, I appreciate that. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's talk, everyone. First of all, let's talk about my personal life and what's been going on behind the scenes this year. In regards to myself and Kat and stuff you don't see on stream. All right.
I thought you said you weren't going to talk about this stuff. By the way, that is a great. Let me just screen cap that. That is amazing. Phil, as I've said, he looks like 20 years. He looks like he's like 60. The only reason he doesn't look older is just because his hair hasn't completely gone gray yet. But it's going there. It's going there very quickly. That is a thing of beauty.
Let's be very honest about everything going on without revealing too much personal stuff. As you guys know, 2017, that was a rough year for me. A lot of negativity, a lot of nasty stuff happened in my personal life, and I don't even want to dwell on it. But the good news is,
like his look at how like shitty this is. Like he couldn't shave properly. Like he has like this crappy stubble, and then he has this beard that looks like he just fucking like I don't know. It looks like he shaved part of it, but not other parts of it, and the colors don't match. Like parts of it are different colors than the rest. Like it looks disgusting. Just grow a fucking full beard or shave. Like it makes me nauseous just to look at it. If any of you are wondering, I've never grown a beard or mustache. I just prefer to be clean shaven.
2017, I met
I don't. I find it tickles your face too much.
a beautiful woman who we had a lot of similar interests. We seemed to have a lot of similar life experiences, and we really connected. All right, and she was able to spend some time with me over the course of 2017, to the point where we really clicked and wanted to spend more time and move in together and have a life together. And we weren't sure if we were going to be able to do that because of all the hurdles that were there in our way. For example, all of a sudden I found out last year that my accountant had been doing my taxes wrong for 3 years, and I owed over $5,000 in back state taxes, plus a bunch of fees and shit.
Well, $5,000. I thought it was $12,000. I'm sorry, I don't have the number in front of me. For anyone who can remember, and I know this is hard, how much has he previously said he owed in back state taxes? Because I feel like it was like $10,000 before.
For not doing it right. Plus, I had to pay a new accountant to fix all that. Okay.
If someone could just post that in the chat.
Helped me out tremendously in that regard. Financially, last year, you guys kind of got me out of that hole and helped me out.
Yeah.
In multiple times. So thank you for that. And because of all that, all right, I was able to say, it looks like I'm okay, at least for the short term, everything's looking good. And Kat was able to move in with me, which was amazing. She actually moved in very early February of 2018. And let me tell you, how nice things have been, all right? Just how much things have improved, although it's not without its stresses, which we'll talk about in a moment. But having someone, here, a significant other, who we care about each other, we love each other, we support each other, behind the scenes being able to share responsibilities, rather than it just all being on me. She's, a really positive influence on me.
Okay, so people are saying one person says it was 16 total, another person said it was 4K tax and 4K tax attorney fee. I can't really remember. I know I've covered this a number of times, but it keeps changing. I'm pretty sure he said it was more than $5,000.
He has told me a lot of times when I'm super stressed to not be stressed. She, basically experiencing a lot of the things out here that I've enjoyed since I moved here 4.5 years ago. Her experiencing them for the first time has been an amazingly positive thing. She came from a place where there wasn't a lot of good positive stuff going on. In fact, there was a lot of very negative stuff, and to be able to move into a more positive environment here, both of us coming from areas where the weather.
How the fuck is this a positive environment? You got a 38-year-old guy or 37-year-old guy who looks like he's 20 years older, who spends all day begging for money while poorly playing video games.
Was way worse than it is out here, and now moving into a better climate and stuff like that. Nice, a moderate climate. She's a great cook. I'm not gonna lie. Like, she made a lot of stuff this year for us that she had never made before. A lot of slow cooker recipes, and just other stuff in general. Things she baked that I never had. I'm not even kidding you guys. I never had a tuna casserole until this year. She made me my very.
Guys, if I worked at home all day every day, I would make myself well, maybe not amazing meals, but I'd cook myself meals every day. Because slow cooking is super easy. When my mother makes pulled pork, it's literally just throw a big piece of pork in, some onions, brown sugar, cayenne pepper, coriander, a couple of other things. Leave it for 8 hours. Come back and just kind of shred it apart, and then you just put it on a bun with some barbecue sauce. It's really, really easy. And it's delicious, and it makes a lot.
First ever tuna casserole. I love it. I thought it was really good. So many different kinds of cuisine she tried to make. She made curries. She made Mexican style.
Oh my god, curries.
She's done so much.
Curry's like absurdly easy to make. I mean, okay, it depends. I don't think most people make curry from scratch. To make it with like sauce though is easy. You just cut up some meat, some like fish. I'll never forget what you said about a bag salad earlier this year. Super cheap slash healthy. You actually made me get them more often. LOL. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with bag salad. I mean, literally all it is just a bunch of veggies in a convenient bag. Um, I don't see why that would be bad for you. But yeah, like for curry, you just chop up a bunch of veggies. Maybe put some chickpeas in if you want a little more protein. And I don't know, like I've had good success with tilapia or salmon. Curry's good. Pork's really good. Chicken I think is the best. Beef, and you just do that and you just fry it all up and mix it with some rice, and it's easy. Maybe it takes an hour or two to just make sure everything's cooked properly. You have enough food for a couple days.
That has just been amazing. Okay, but not only that, super duper, responsible, reliable, helpful, loving, caring, and all the stuff that behind the scenes you need to motivate you to want to keep going during times of diversity, times of stress. She's been there for me.
Times of diversity, I think he means adversity, but whatever.
And on the flip side of that, I've tried to as much as I can be there for her. You gotta understand, it was very stressful for her to move from one area to another. Big move, big life changes, and pretty much almost right when she moved here, within a month, she was working right away. Had to transfer a job and jump right into a job that was a big life adjustment. And over the course of the year,
okay, Elsa makes a good point. What's really good is marinating chicken breasts. When I was in university, I like to marinate them in Greek dressing. So I'd mix up some Greek dressing and we'll just put some in and leave it to marinate in that. And they get so like tender and delicious. I don't know. There's lots of food you can make that's not that expensive. Maybe it's just because I live in Leafland, but chicken's not that expensive. Eggs are dirt cheap. Eggs are very healthy and very filling. Um, Even beef isn't that bad. You just get ground beef, you mix it with like some beans and some veggies, buy some shells, you got tacos. I don't know, there's lots of like easy stuff.
Adjusting for that, for example, she started working here. She had a job where she opened. She would be opening early morning hours through like normal office hours. Then about 2-3 months ago, she transitioned into night hours. Okay, which is very stressful to try to change your whole schedule around from going a certain sleep schedule and then changing it completely to flip on its head to be a different kind of schedule. Some people used to always question, what's up with your schedules and all of that, because I would say, I didn't get to spend much time with Kat today or whatever, and they said, well, what do you mean? Well, yeah, when she was opening, what would happen is, so she would be working by the time I woke up. Okay, I would stream. She would come home by the end of my first stream. We would have dinner together and maybe like an hour together. Okay, then I'd have to go back and do my second stream. And by the time that I was finishing my second stream around 9 p.m. Pacific time, she was already getting ready for bed because she had to get up early in the morning to work very early hours. And there were some days I was seeing her like an hour, 2 hours a day tops, if that. And most of that time was to make a meal and clean up the house. It wasn't even like we had any kind of significant interaction or whatever. And some streams I would end on the dot at 9 p.m. and people would be like, why are you ending the stream so early? You should go longer. I'm like, guys, this is like a half an hour I can see my girlfriend before she goes to sleep today. I'd like to go spend that time.
That was on his birthday when he got like 2,000 people in his stream, and he could have just sucked it up and been a big boy.
Kind of thing, you know what I mean?
I'm going to turn the speed up a bit.
Now, the thing is that her new schedule.
Yeah, what the fuck was the whole thing with let me see. Okay, I'll see if I can turn this up a bit. I cannot actually turn my mic up anymore. It's already at maximum volume. I'll just try to sit a bit closer to the mic. You know what I'll do? I'll pick up my mic and I'll just hold it. And let me know if this sounds any better. So I have it right up to my face. I have a dynamic mic, so you need to be a bit closer to it than a condenser mic. But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, what was up with him like just not being around for a couple days over like a week over Christmas? Like he claims he's sick, but the issue is this dude's always sick. And not only is this dude always sick, but I don't know, it's just always a fucking mess. So, I don't know.
Her schedule isn't without its stresses. Um, Now she gets to sleep in, okay, which is good, but she has to work very late hours. You know, some nights she's out till 11:30 midnight working and gets home around midnight-ish. And some people say, Phil, why are you up at 3 in the morning? Well, because Kat got home at midnight and her schedule is different. Now she's hungry. I make her something to eat. We watch something on TV, you know, relax. And I'm not going to bed between 2 and 3 a.m. is when she's getting tired. So I'm up till 2, 3 a.m. every night because I want to spend time with her. You know what I mean? Like, sure, she could come in at midnight and I go right to sleep and I never get to see her. So, you know, I'm trying to adjust my schedule to be in line with hers now so we can spend more time together. And, you know, the good news is she got a lot of hours in and everything around the holidays, but it's also very stressful when you're working a night job like that and everything. And I get it. So basically, this year has kind of been a year of adjustment, a year of transition, a year of not only getting used to living in a new state and living, you know, Kat living here with me and us sharing responsibilities, us sharing things like the car and everything, but also getting in line with a job that was more consistent, work hours that were more consistent. The good thing is now her job hours do seem consistent, and even though we don't definitively know every day what week she's going to have off, at least we know it. You know, in general, we'll have one whole day a week that we can spend together. So it's good. It's a good thing. And it's been, you know, it's been a lot of work and a lot of stress, and always. Oh my god, wow. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to see what you're saying in stream chat. My laptop is crapping out.
Okay, I want to take a poll. People in chat, press 1 if you think he was actually sick. Press 2 if he was just being lazy. And we'll see how that goes.
Completely. And not working here. Piece of garbage. Okay, there. More messages. There we go. Finally got it to work. Yeah, you know, it's stressful, and you know, any kind of a life change like that is going to be stressful. But it's been good. It's been a positive thing, and you know, she's turned me on to a lot of stuff that previously I didn't know about. I turned her on to a lot of stuff that she didn't know about. You know what I mean? Like, we really are gelling, and things are going really well. All right. And I'm not going to get into long-term plans. Sometimes I've alluded to things over the year, like some people say, Phil, you know, you think that you'd ever want to get married? You think you'd ever have kids? You think you'd ever do blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to get into massive detail, and I'm not going to get into that level of stuff on today's podcast. And the bottom line is, it's really nobody's business, if and when we ever decided to make personal decisions.
No, but Phil, we've been over this all throughout the year. You make it people's business. You ask for money to move your GF in. Like I said, you don't get to ask for money to improve your personal life. And then when people ask you about it, you yell at them and call them like detractors for wondering. Like, you just, these two things just are mutually incompatible.
Decisions like that behind the scenes, you know, that's our business. And if we ever decided to share that with you guys, great. But at the same time, imagine if we ever tried to share something like that, and then you know immediately that negative and nasty element of people would try to jump down our throats and get details. What's going on? What's being spent? Who's doing what? You know, that's how they are. They're like they're so into my shit that if I ever were to talk publicly.
Okay, but Phil, you constantly talk about how you have no money for anything. You say, I can't go see movies because I don't have money. I can't buy food because I don't have money. I can't do anything because I have money. I remember one time you claimed that you couldn't take out your garbage because you had to spend the time working to get money. So if you're going to use that, if you're going to take that perspective, then like to be honest, I think people have a right to like monitor your money, because if they're funding you, then yeah.
About private stuff like that, like destroy. You know what I mean? They would literally try to do fucked up stuff. Okay, and I'm not going to allow them to do that stuff. So that kind of personal stuff behind the scenes will stay behind the scenes until we ever decide if there's a time or place where we would like to reveal that kind of personal information, which we may. But at this point, you know, basically the less is more. And this has been the philosophy personally with my personal life. In 2018, this has been a major change. And listen, I'm well aware a lot of you are longtime viewers and fans of mine, right? And, you know, I understand that a lot of you want more information. You like to hear about personal things going on in my life. I feel like a celebration. Wow, when something positive happens with Phil, it's a celebration and we're all happy for him, right? But when sadly there aren't normal people out there who follow me and they will take that stuff and I give them a tiny little tidbit and they'll do just dumb stupid shit. Like, already there's people hypothesizing that all the things I've told you over the past few months are bullshit. I don't owe any taxes. I don't have any problems with finances or money. I'm trying to save money to go on a vacation to do some kind of elaborate. Some people think I bought stuff for the house and shit. That's nuts. You know, Phil has crazy expensive stuff in his house. I've heard crazy things that Cat is a millionaire. Cat
He
has
does,
a
though.
car for owning. I have a car, and now we have 2 cars.
He buys crazy
and all this
expensive
crazy
stuff
shit.
all the time.
And it's all based off of bullshit. It's based off of these people deep diving into bullshit information on the internet that's not correct and trying to make things out of it that is just completely fabricated. They'll take a little tidbit of misinformation on the internet and turn it into something that is...
People take unedited, like 10-minute clips of me talking, and that's just not the reality.
Nah, on purpose to try to create drama and try to create things that look bad for us to hurt our lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why in the holy hell would I share actual personal information?
That's a good point, which you just did.
About stuff going on behind the scenes. In 2018, this has been the year of my life since I've been a YouTuber. You know, I started in 2008. 2018 has been a year where, for the most part, I kept everything under wraps.
No, you talk about it on a daily
Much about
basis.
the private stuff that we were doing. Every once in a while, I'd share a little tidbit on a pre-stream or answer a cheer or whatever, and let you know a little bit about something that happened, answer a question. But I've kept most of the stuff that we do under wraps on purpose because we knew that if we exposed things, that people would blow it out of proportion and make us look like you know, this is evil Phil, evil Cat, evil stupid nonsense bullshit, right?
He has no money. That's why he drinks like 5 Kickstarters a day. That can't be healthy. Let me just look that up while we're watching this. How many calories are in one of those?
Side of things, okay, that I personally, on the professional side of things, don't have Cat as part of the ongoing content that I do. She doesn't show up in my streams. She doesn't show up in my gameplay on purpose.
Remember when he said that she was going to, and he that was a big reason for her to move in with him?
Because when you cross that line, people just think, oh, now it's just fair game. Because she showed up in one video, it's fair game to try to fucking completely slander and dig up shit from the past. Has nothing to possibly do with our current lives together now, and just saying stuff that's completely falsified in order to try to hurt us. And that's why you haven't seen that in the professional side of things, that Kat doesn't want to be a part of it. She wants to be out of my stuff. She does not want to be a part of a stream where, because she looks a certain way, or because she said something in a certain way, because, you know, she didn't react in a certain way, or I'll say nothing, completely unfair comparisons about stuff, you know, content that I put out in the past, that now, oh, this means this, and this means that, and this, it's just stupid kitty shit. It's what you do when you literally have no fucking life. And so you have to micro-analyze every little thing to cause drama for yourself because your life's so fucking boring. There's nothing to talk about in regards to your own life, so you have to make drama out of someone else's. And we don't want that, you know? Which is why this year you...
Oh, okay. So let's see here. Okay, I looked it up. So Mountain Dew Kickstart has 60 calories per can because it uses a lot of artificial sweeteners, which aren't really good for you either. Now, the amount of caffeine in it actually isn't that much. Mountain Dew Kickstart only has 92 milligrams in comparison to a medium coffee at Tim Hortons, which is 205. So it's got a less than a cup of coffee. So it's actually not that bad from that perspective. But that makes you wonder, why wouldn't you just drink coffee? Because coffee is actually like healthy. I mean, if you drink too much of anything, it's bad for you. But coffee like helps prevent things like Alzheimer's and dementia, and it has antioxidants in it. It has a lot of like benefits, like health benefits. I don't think there's anything really unhealthy about coffee except for being a bit stuff like that.
I have not seen it. You have not seen a lot of the personal stuff. Now, I'll be honest, it was tough. There's a lot of times that things happen I want to share with. I'll be honest, there's a few things right now that I think would be really cool, positive things I could share with all of you. But undoubtedly, if I did, it would be spun in a negative light anyway. So I can't, you know, and that's it. That's been a big step for me to mature up, because for 10 years of my life, I've shared so much with all of you as a viewing audience, and I can't do that anymore. You know, I can't do it anymore, because to do it would be giving these certain people with messed up minds the fuel that they need to continue doing what they're doing. Okay? So I just can't do it anymore. I can't, you know. And that's why there's been a big change this year when it comes to my personal stuff. All right? So what I can tell you is this. I have a good personal life right now. If anything, yes, is there stress? Absolutely. But the stress is much more worth it to have the amazing amount of love and really good personal life that I have right now. That's why I can tell you guys, like, when it comes to my professional life, I really want to keep everything I've got. I want to make enough money to pay my bills and pay my taxes and stay here, because things are really good. This is kind of the ideal of what I and Kat have both wanted. We are happy just to stay where we are, have what we have. We're not looking for anything more than what we have. Just stay here and have things go nicely the way that they're going, and just have it be that, you know. The problem is, the sad fact is that everything's being threatened because of a lot of things going on, and it sucks. I don't like having, you know, a life that we just built together over the course of 2018 being threatened by bullshit, which is exactly what it is, a bunch of fucking stupid bullshit. And, you know, it's not good to know that even if I work my ass off to the point where I'm getting sick and breaking, that it might not be enough. You know what I mean? And that's why I have to sometimes appeal to you guys for help and just let you know, on Thanksgiving, when I told you guys about my financial troubles with these taxes coming up in 2019, that was a big step, because I kept that secret from you guys all year.
I thought you said you weren't going to tell us personal information. That's the definition of personal information.
And, you know, it sucks to have to share that with you, but, you know, I have to tell you those things because I don't know what else to do at this point, you know, being real. I don't want to lose my house that I worked my ass off for so long, a house that we built our life in this year, and now things are amazing.
That's right. They built their life in this house like 6 years ago or however long ago when he bought it.
You know, I want to keep that positivity going, right? So, in regards to 2018, personal stuff. 2 thumbs up, good stuff. And we want to keep that
What? How is it good stuff? His entire life was a disaster this year.
personal stuff going in 2019 because it's been so good. Sorry I can't share a lot of it with you because of those negative, mentally challenged people who just want to fuck with me and ruin my life, but we have to keep it how it is, okay? Fair enough? All right. So
Thank you, conservative. Thank you, conservative Vanguard. That's going right to the bills. Thank you, White Knights of the Round Table. I hope you enjoy my book. At some point, I'll have a Q&A stream. I just haven't really gotten around to it. I should probably go on and do some... yeah. Anyway, so the request was to play the gong sound effect. And there you go.
Cheers, battled up to me $1, says talking about BS. Don't forget to periodically remind Kat that she's just part of your imagination, of course. Some people, that's what I mean. So, because I don't give information about Kat, she doesn't exist. She's fake. Someone actually told me last week, oh my god, I'm sitting in Kat's office watching her play Assassin's Creed Odyssey DLC, because I didn't get it, so I'm watching her play it, and I'm about to take a picture.
Okay, I'll turn it up, no problem.
As I'm taking the picture, her screen fades to black during the cutscene. It's loading another cutscene. I take the picture, and it goes, takes the picture during the black screen. People start, that's not a real picture. You photoshopped her in, and it's obviously a blank screen. She doesn't exist. I'm like...
Okay, but Phil, no one literally believes that. It's just people trolling you. Like, people will say stuff they don't actually believe all the time when they're trolling you as just a way of fucking with you. So, like, I don't know. I don't get it.
This is actually an ongoing thing. These idiots actually think that she doesn't exist or that she broke up with me. You people are fucking nuts. Like, that's just not not logical thinking. It's not. It's insanity. That you would just, like, fabricate shit like that just to create drama. It's just not normal. That needs treatment. It really does. Like, if that's you, I...
Okay, but Phil, no one thinks that it's fake. They just are doing it to fuck with you. Like, people post comments under my videos all the time where they, like, pretend to be someone they're not, or, like, they take a position they don't believe in to try to screw with me. Like, that's just what people do on the internet. I don't think there's anyone who believes that Kat is fake, at this point at least. I mean, before people thought she was fake because you provided us with no evidence, and it was just really weird the way you were doing it, but...
I have this crazy conspiracy theory with my tinfoil hat on that Phil's girlfriend broke up with him. Go see a doctor. You need that help, because it's that fucked up how that kind of thinking is fucked, man. Okay?
Okay, I'd like to ask people in the comments section, do any of you think Kat doesn't exist, like that she's not a real person? I just like to see if anybody has done that.
Okay. All right, let's continue. So now, let's talk about, professional side of stuff, okay? Let's talk about how stuff went this year in regards to streaming and YouTube, which are obviously the 2 focuses. Let's also talk about things like Patreon, Teespring, that kind of stuff, that all was supplementary. And then let's talk about other outside...
Am I the only person here who liked Panda Lee a lot more than Kat? Honestly, I didn't think Panda Lee was that bad, to be honest. I think she was a lot better looking than Kat. Kat looks weird. Kat does look kind of like she was having the surgery but didn't go all the way. I don't know. I didn't think Panda Lee was a bad looking girl. She just looked really weird. Like, I could never figure out what she was ethnically. I mean, was she like a castiza? Was she just white? Like, or did she just look kind of weird? I could never figure out what Panda Lee's like ethnic background was. And her name was Hagen, which implies that it was at least partially German. Um, Anyways, if people in the chat want to say, what do you guys think Panda Lee's ethnic background is? I'm curious to see what other people made out of it.
Opportunities, okay? Twitch streaming has been great. Twitch streaming in particular is on an up. And I'll be honest, earlier on this year, it was a little bit tougher because if you remember, Twitch changed their terms of service. And when they changed their terms of service, they became a lot more strict about what you can and can't do and what you can and can't say on a Twitch stream. And it was actually challenging for me because I was always kind of the uncensored guy who could say whatever the hell he wanted. I mean, back in the day on YouTube, are you kidding me? The shit I used to say and do. And of course, over the years, I've matured, I've grown up.
Yeah, but it was better when you used to be uncensored. Now you're just like PC and bullshit. I don't know.
I've changed, right? And I've become, in my opinion, a much better person, a much better content creator. You don't come to my streams to hear me say some crazy, controversial, off-the-cuff thing to get everyone all riled up about drama. You come to my streams to see kind of a Joe average guy have...
Okay, but that was better. Like, your Dead Space 2 playthrough is like one of your best playthroughs. The MGS ones I maintain, I will go to my grave saying were his best ones.
Fun with the game and give his honest opinions on it and hang out with me and interact with me in a cool, chill stream chat. As I say every day on my streams, the purpose of my streams now isn't necessarily to put out a fucking controversial, hilarious playthrough, but to just have a chill place to hang out and have fun. And yeah, we'll do fun playthroughs, but there'll be other opportunities to do other kinds of stuff like Minecraft or a battle royal game or a JRPG, where it's more about just the atmosphere, being relaxing. You escape from your real life, you come to my stream here to hang out with me on a daily basis and have fun with me, and then yeah, there's gameplay that comes along with it. It's not just about the gameplay. And that was the big difference is when I used to do...
Yeah, so Panda Lee, okay, so she said that she's not part Asian. So given that, I always thought she was like a castiza or something. Or she was like half Hispanic. But she just, maybe she could just be strange looking. Because that's just how it is with some people. But it always kind of interested me.
YouTube is the focus. It was just the gameplay was the focus and not anything else. So I wouldn't interact. I would play a game like Minecraft and be bored to tears. Because I wouldn't know what to do and I wouldn't interact with people to find out. You see what I mean? It's definitely been a different kind. It's definitely been a different kind of stream. Recently, and just this last year. You know what I mean? We got a bunch of trolls in the stream chat, and this sucks because, we had moderators earlier, and now apparently there's no one here. And I apologize, guys. Anyone who's here to actually enjoy the stream, and we're looking forward to these segments, and now we got a bunch of trolls being negative dicks in the stream chat. I can't moderate while I also do this segment. It's just going to distract me and derail me.
Okay, someone's asking me what I mean by castiza. Okay, so a mestizo is someone who's roughly half white, half Amerindian. A castizo or a castiza is someone who's 3/4 white, 1/4 Native American, 1/4 Amerindian. So I'm trying to think of an example of someone who would be a castiza. Selena Gomez would probably be one. Jessica Alba is barely even a castiza. I'd have to think up a list of them, but yeah.
Getting you all off topic. So I apologize for that. I'll keep an eye on it, but we'll see what happens. Okay, my apologies in advance for these people acting like jerks. Okay, here we go. Oh my god, I don't even know what's going on. Like I told you, my laptop isn't even working right. Anyway, continuing on. And by the way, if you ever see guys, moderators, I see Swaggins is here now. If you ever see a situation where like someone's hacking, which could happen, contact Twitch staff, report that person, because you can report directly by writing a log to Twitch staff. Say I'm a moderator on a channel and looks like someone hacked or something because we can't moderate them, and they should take care of that. Okay. Okay. Anyway, so all that being said, everybody, let's now continue on and talk about streaming this year. Sorry, I got distracted there. Streaming this year, in my opinion, is an all-time high. I'm having more fun on daily streams than I've ever had before making content. I'm not even kidding. Like, when I used to do YouTube offline, no streaming, it was more about me having fun playing a game or having fun with, like, Rambo or whoever I was doing co-op with. And it was like, if I'm having fun or if other people are having fun with me, then it makes a fun video that people want to watch on YouTube. When I started live streaming, it was weird because it was like sometimes I would have fun, but I wouldn't be able to see other people watching live having fun. And I think a lot of times what happened was people felt disconnected.
Oh, thank you, Nost. I really appreciate that. That is That is going straight to the bills.
Because Phil's streaming, but he's not interacting with us. He's not paying any attention. And last year,
This
I did
is
adopt
at
kind of a full-time
1.4
streamer kind of a
speed.
deal mentality.
Happy New
but
Year, Nos.
I took a lot of work for me to adjust to it and to basically make it so that I can do streams that are entertaining and fun. And I don't get distracted by drama and negativity. And I try to keep that off the stream so that it's a more chill, relaxing place. And in my opinion, at least, and from the feedback I'm getting, it seems to me that it's a good thing. Everyone's telling me the streams are better than ever. I love attending your streams. You know, they're great. And it's a fun, no matter what you're playing. That's the other thing, too. It used to be, if Phil's not playing a AAA game, that's new. If Phil's not playing Grand Theft Auto or Dark Souls or fighting game, we don't care. Now it seems like I can do whatever kind of games I want. And there will always be an audience to come by and hang out with me for said games. And even if it's a smaller audience, people are still to come by and hang out. They're supportive. You know what I mean? And that's an awesome thing, where it used to always be the concern was, if I'm not playing a game that's going to bring in the viewers right away, well, I can't play the game, right? But it was the complete opposite. Like I told you guys, it seems to me, okay, that at least in regards to the streams, everything's good. So in my opinion, streams couldn't be better. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I hope you guys are enjoying what I do now. The variety of content I do, it's not just about main playthroughs anymore. Now we have chill events like Minecraft and Battle Royale. We can do these kind of...
They're boring as fuck because you don't have anything to say about anything. Like, you don't have any interesting insights. The questions you ask are boring as fuck.
monthly stream events that are special events that are more interesting than just, say, just doing a normal playthrough. I'm loving all of it. And I seem to be, at least from, again, the feedback you guys give me, I'm way more open and receptive to change, to suggestions for change. You know, I've made things that have been dramatic improvements over the course of the year that people are telling me are really good. You see what I mean? So, hopefully, everything is good, okay? Hopefully, the streams stay at the level that they are. Now, I'll be honest, earlier this year, it was actually a problem because I was getting into trouble with Twitch for things that I was saying and doing on stream. You know, their new terms of service being very ambiguous, I'll be honest with all of you. Like, I got in trouble on Twitch for commenting on the physical appearance of someone's avatar who had insulted me on a stream, okay? Someone who came onto my stream and basically said that I was either a liar or a hypocrite or, you know, I was...
Okay, I defended him when this happened. This was bullshit. It's the internet. People are dicks on the internet. People call each other fat, all kinds of stuff like that. It's... like, I don't get why anyone really cares. I don't know. I defended him during that, though, because that was bullshit that he got temporarily banned over it.
Gonna blow up on stream. Said something negative about me. I mean, at this point, it was so long ago, I don't even particularly remember what the person said. But I made a comment about how their avatar looked. All right? And that got me into trouble on Twitch. That actually got me a suspension. And it's like, what? Like, to me, that's really stupid. You know what I mean? But I guess people are now so sensitive on the internet that you can't do that stuff. And it's a change, a big change for me, right? But if you notice now, you don't see that kind of stuff on my streams anymore. And in reality, I think it's a better place. I do. I think it's a good change. I think it's a better place because I think a lot of people were like, you know, sometimes...
Oh yeah, smash that like button, please.
Defensive mode, you can attack and just be very negative and toxic. And we don't like that anymore. That old ranting Phil who is so...
It's even more toxic now.
We don't need that, right? We basically want to be a place where we can just be chill and don't have that drama. And with Twitch really enforcing their terms of service the way they did, okay, it changed the way that I put out content. And I stopped letting myself be overcome with the negativity or rage or anger or whatever during gameplay.
Like, once again, I actually didn't really care about the whole VR kid thing. Like, I don't know. I just don't care about that kind of stuff. Like, to me, maybe I'm just desensitized, but like that stuff is so mild compared to like most of the stuff on the internet. I don't even like, a lot of these people are really yeah. Like, I was in this one group with some of the Sons of Kojima people who were trying to figure out how much Phil was making, and they were just talking about, oh, Phil's such a racist, Phil's such a he's a homophobe, he's sexist, and I like said to one of them, dude, you guys are sheltered. If you think DSP is actually a racist, they obviously have never like really been on the internet before. Like, what Phil does is he makes like 1990s tame, mildly un-PC jokes. And a lot of the people who like watch him are just such fucking like wimps that they find that too much. It's like how in The Simpsons they're getting rid of Apu because people can't take like, I'm not even talking about like actual like edgy stuff I've said in the past. I mean like just jokes. Like, I actually haven't had that many people complain about China economy strong. But like that's just a parody. Like it's not even really supposed to be um, necessarily like insulting to Chuck. Well, it kind of is, but it's just like it's a joke. Like people have no fucking sense of humor. I think it's just people trying to justify how much they hate him. But like Phil is super tame.
Of course, during a fighting game, if I'm angry at the online player, whatever, of course I'm going to rage. But you notice I wasn't saying some of the things that I used to say about people anymore. And I think that's a good thing. I think it makes my streams better overall. And even though some people might say, oh, censorship, you know what? In the long run, that's stuff that maybe didn't add to anything anyway. And it just made people, like, off-put certain people. It actually maybe offended certain people. And it's something that I needed to do to grow and change for the better. So in my opinion, I actually think that it makes sense for me to make these positive changes. I actually do think they're positive changes. And even though maybe initially these are things that I was punished for, and I ended up losing my ability to stream for a few days or whatever earlier on in the year, I learned from that. And if you guys have noticed, it's been, all year since I think March was the last time that anything negative happened. I'm in the clear. You know, Twitch doesn't contact me. They have no problems with anything that I do. So I have adjusted myself to be in line with what Twitch wants as a full-time streamer. That's a great thing, okay? And, to be honest, profits-wise, Twitch is now my main source of income, which is what I want.
Okay, so here's the thing that I kind of wanted to talk about a bit. So, like, what was I thinking of again? Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Okay, he's going to say he's making all kinds of money on Twitch, and then he's going to say I'm not actually making money on Twitch.
Wanted to do, okay? What I wanted to do is I wanted to make it so that everything else was supplemental, and Twitch was my main focus, and Twitch was my main source of income. I've done that, which is great. Now, the little bit of the negative here is that I'm still reliant on the other sources of income. I eventually, what I want to do long term is make it so that any money I make on YouTube or Patreon or Teespring is just icing on the cake supplemental income. Twitch is the focus, and Twitch is where I make enough money to pay all my bills and pay my taxes and do everything just from Twitch, okay? That's what I want ultimately, and that's why I focus solely on Twitch. You don't see me caring about edited content on YouTube or anything like that anymore, all right? So, that's the goal, the ultimate goal. I'm not there yet. I'm far from it, all right? Let's do a couple shout outs. Then what I want to do is kind of go over the history of what happened this year with streaming and let you guys know some of the highs and lows that I had. Okay? So, Mark Murphy did a 600-bit cheer. That makes him the top cheer of the day. He says, all the best for 2019. I hope it's a good one for you and Kat. Thank you very much, Mark Murphy. Let's get you up on the leaderboard there with that top cheer. See, 600 bits. And then Iconic Christian cheered and said, let's hope that in 2019 it's a positive year for you, Phil. There's toxic people who will come in and ruin the stream for you, but let's hope that it gets better for you and me and my brother, and so many people will support your content forever. Thank you very much, Iconic Christian, for the cheer. Appreciate that. Nice positive message, right? Okay. Now, in regards to this year, all right, and in regards to, basically, in regards to streaming, there were highs and lows this year. This year, I saw my best streaming month ever, and I also saw bad streaming months, okay, where I thought I could maintain a certain level of success, and I didn't for whatever reason. What I noticed was that earlier on this year it was slower because the holidays had ended, but then once the new games started coming out, it actually started picking up. And what I noticed is around April, May, June, those 3 months, things were on a big upward trend. And at that point, keep in mind, I was still with my partnership network on YouTube and everything, and it looked like I was going to start to get positivity. I was going to start to get other opportunities, which we'll talk about later on in this segment. But basically, it looked really good. Everything looked positive and good. And, you know, I was like, wow, this is great. And I'll be honest, during the summer months, it was amazing. Like, during the summer months, there wasn't a lot going on, okay, at all. And
Wasn't Tutmos during the summer months, though?
During the summer months, I was still playing downtime games that normally wouldn't bring in a lot of viewers, but people were coming and watching, people were contributing, things were great. That's good, because typically what would happen for me as a content creator is during the summer months, there's no new games. That means my viewership's way down, my profit's way down. Now I'm screwed over, and I depend on the last 3-4 months of the year to make up for it. It was kind of the opposite this year. During the summer months, people were coming in and suggesting downtime games like Simpsons Hit and Run and stuff like that. And I was playing them and challenging myself to beat them, okay, which I did. I didn't quit on these games. I played them. I even went back to other games like Persona 3, Scarface, went back and beat some of these games that previously had beaten my ass, and I went back and beat them, and people loved it. Replaying games like Grand Theft Auto, Vice City, and San Andreas, in modern graphics or whatever, people loved it, and contributions were high. So I was like on cloud 9 this summer. I was like, if we can keep this up, right, things will be going amazingly good. Like, I couldn't complain. Things are going so good. And then in regards to streaming, sadly, what ended up happening, okay, what really ended up happening here, is that
fucking detractors gave me money
and derailed the way that the streams were going because he wanted to be the center of attention. He wanted to come in and drop sub bombs, and he wanted to drop cheer bombs, and he wanted to drop tips, and he wanted, whenever he was on stream, to make the stream all about him. In fact, if he wasn't getting attention for his contribution,
all I have to say is this is what Phil said to Tutmosis. To Tutankhamun, sorry. Why is my soundboard not working?
He would
Anyways.
get upset, and he would start arguing with stream chatters, and he would start arguing with the moderators, and he would start basically getting into trouble. That people would kind of be like, well, I guess we just got to kind of put up with him because he's being so positive and contributing to Phil. All right. Now, I'll be honest with all of you. When Tutankhamun came along, it was kind of like a godsend, and the reason I say that is because without him and his contributions, I might have been completely screwed over financially in 2018. Because if you remember, that's when I lost my partnership with Curse on YouTube. That's when my YouTube channel couldn't have ads for a month. Like, there was so much shit that happened on YouTube this year that we'll talk about in a moment, all right? That screwed me over financially, that without Tutankhamun's, contributions, I don't know what would have happened. But the short-term aid that he gave me, it was only about a month and a half, 2 months tops that he was being supportive, ended up long-term hurting me. And you might say, well, why? Well, basically, people have been coming by during the summer and being supportive of all my content or whatever. As soon as Tutankhamun started coming by and making the streams all about him and himself, people got turned off. Man, I don't want to be on that stream where the whole stream everyone's just talking about this guy dropping sub bombs or whatever. You know what I mean? Or cheering constantly or whatever. We don't want to do that. So it would basically turn it into a negative thing. And that's basically what it was a situation where I lost the ongoing long-term support of certain people in exchange for short-term support from a certain guy who got me through a bad time, but then ended up becoming a toxic influence. Hates my gut.
What? Like, and once again, it's who gives a shit if he was toxic? He gave you like $10,000? He gave you an absurdly large amount of money. I would let if one of you guys wanted to give me 10 grand US, I would let you like post whatever you wanted in the chat. You could post like links to like Noam Chomsky articles. You could post links to Right Wing Watch. You could you just post 1488 Race War Now. You guys could do whatever the fuck you wanted. I wouldn't complain if somebody was giving me that kind of money for basically doing nothing. But he can't just take it and like accept it and be grateful for it, that it's like a savior. You know what Tutmosis was?
Ooh, she's tsundere as fuck.
She was tsundere as fuck.
Sent me these nasty emails about how he hates me and he wants his money back and shit. And I'm like, I don't know anything about this. I never talked or insulted to the guy directly on a stream. I was not involved in any kind of negativity with the guy whatsoever. All of a sudden he says, I'm a villain, I hate you, I want my money back. It's obvious this guy was plotting to do shit like this from the get-go. He had something wrong with him, probably didn't like me, and thought, oh, I'll trick Phil, I'll make him think I'm really going to be like his savior, and then I'm going to fuck him in the long run. In reality, he screwed himself over because I kept all of it. I mean, I don't know what he thought was going to happen. When you do cheering and subbing on Twitch, it's non-refundable. It doesn't matter what he claims because he claimed he got it all back on his credit card. That's a blatant lie. I can tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, from my personal experience with credit cards, here's how it works. If you have a credit card charge and you contact your credit card company and you dispute the charge, okay, they're going to ask you, why are you disputing it? Now, you have a few things you can say. You can either say, my card was lost or stolen, in which case you have to document and prove it. You can't just say that and then they write it off, okay? Or you can say, well, I didn't authorize that charge. Somehow they got my information. Or you can say, I didn't agree to pay that.
Now, just from experience, I've had my credit card stolen twice. The first time somebody, I think it was during like one of the first leaks of like Microsoft Online or like Xbox Live, someone hacked my Xbox Live account in the Czech Republic and they bought like $500 worth of points with my money. So I just called Microsoft. I'm like, look, I live in Canada. I have like evidence. I was away at university at the time. I can give you like my rental agreement. I can get people like I obviously don't live in the Czech Republic. And they're like, oh, okay, we'll just refund you the money. And then that also happened this year where someone hacked my bank account and they transferred $6,000 out of it. And immediately once I noticed it, I went to them and like, look, guys, I didn't do this. I know who this person is, etc. I was hacked. And then they immediately restored it. Most financial institutions and companies are willing to eat the loss if it means that people aren't going to bail on their service. Because, like, what's worse? To spend like if you're eBay, to spend like, I don't know, $10 million a year covering bad deals where people got ripped off or people had got scammed, etc., or losing all credibility and people not wanting to use your site. It's a lot cheaper and you get a lot more goodwill. Like another example of this, is Audible. Now, I'm a huge fan of Audible. I've tried to get sponsored by Audible in the past, but I don't get quite enough views to get sponsored by them. I'd love to be sponsored by them because I use the service personally. But Audible has a policy where you can return any ebook whenever you want, no questions asked, if you bought in the last 6 months. And one of the reasons they let you put is I didn't like the book. So I'll sometimes buy a book and I'll listen to it and I'll be like, this is terrible. And I return it and they'll give me a full refund. And I've probably spent like thousands of dollars, well, over $1,000 on Audible over the last like 6 years. So I go through a lot of books because I have a long commute. And the fact that they let me do that means I'm more likely to buy a book because I know I can just return it if I don't feel like it. If I'm like, I don't really like this, etc. Actually, another phishing thing I had one time. Sorry if I'm. There's just a couple I've got lately. One was your BMO account has been locked out for suspicious activity. Please give us your info so that we can unlock your BMO account. I'm like, I don't have an account with the Bank of Montreal. I got a fake call pretending to be the Canadian Revenue Agency once. And I think the best one is there's this virus that was going around. And when you turn on your computer, it takes you to like this screen and it says, this computer, illegal stuff has been detected on this computer. The RCMP has locked it down and will soon be coming to your house to arrest you. However, you can just pay a fee. You can pay a fee to get out of it. Yeah, just with regards to Audible, a lot of the time if I say I've read a book, like with the Mesopotamian thing, what it actually is they have all the great courses on it, and the great courses are where they get a university lecture to do basically a full course on a subject. So there'll be like a series of like 12 to 20 lectures, so it'll just be a professor lecturing, and most of the time they're pretty good quality. So
they agreed a certain amount and they overcharged me. Those are basically the three things you can do, okay? The credit card company then does what's called an investigation. They don't just grant you your money back magically, which is what apparently what this Tutankhamun guy's telling everyone they did, and he's a fucking idiot liar. What they do, they launch an investigation that takes weeks. And what they'll do is they'll actually contact, they contact the retailer or company or whoever the hell that payment's with and get information from them. Well, what was this for? Do you have receipts? Do you have evidence of anything? Okay? I'll give you a perfect example. When I first moved here, I bought a bunch of furniture for the house.
Okay, I'm just going to skip ahead.
Sold me the furniture.
Because this is really boring.
I can show you stream logs of where he's been. I can show you all this evidence. And they said, we don't even need that. So, we believe you. And I kept the money. So no matter what he says, he's a fucking liar. No guarantee of any kind of a payback for it, okay? But in general, the credit card company research, we're not going to give you your money back. There's no fraud here. With no evidence, a credit card company will never give you your money back. Now, I'll give you an example of the time when I did get my money back. I'd gone on a trip. It was one of those conventions that I had gone to with John Rambo. When I was in the airport, I used my credit card.
No, but like I said, oftentimes credit card companies or sites like eBay or Amazon will just eat the loss because they think it's better to have people to lose a couple tens of millions of dollars a year, but make people feel really secure and trust their platform, and that's preferable to trying to save a little extra money.
To swipe and prove my identity.
So I think it could be possible that Twitch or someone would let DSP keep the money but also refund it. That doesn't seem completely impossible to me.
Identity to get my boarding pass to print out at the airport. When I got back home from this trip 2 weeks later, there were charges in Florida while I was in Connecticut. So I was at a store in Connecticut buying food, and then the same day, someone in Florida charged to the same card a resort fee because they were at a hotel. Huh? How's that? How can I be in Connecticut and Florida at the same time? So I called my credit card company and said, this obviously isn't me. Okay, that is concrete evidence. We're going to give you your money back. And they gave it to me. Okay? So Mr. Tutankhamun, all right, is a complete dog-faced liar. Everything he's ever said was dishonest and horseshit. He lied to everyone about everything.
Who cares? He gave you $6,000.
He claims he got all his money back. He did not. All that money that he ever put towards anything, whether it was cheering, subbing, or tipping, everyone should have been able to keep at least. In regards to the tips, he tried to charge me back for over $1,000 in tips. I got them all. I went to PayPal. I explained the situation. I said I have hard evidence. I have emails that I've talked with this guy. I can show you stream logs of where he's been. I can show you all this evidence. And they said, we don't even need that. So, we believe you. And I kept the money. So no matter what he says, he's a fucking liar. And the good news is I made out in that situation. But sadly, long term, it screwed me over because here's what happened. For the months of August and September, all right, I've had enough of this guy too, another idiot. Get out of my stream chat. For the months of
Why
August
am
and
I
September,
toxic?
okay, this guy came in and was being was being positive and contributing or whatever, even though he was kind of trying to take over the streams and make it all about him. He was being very, very positive. So he basically went away, turned on me in late September, early October, said he hated my guts, and tried to get all his money back. But what happened was, now people were like, well, Phil's got all this money or whatever, and he's good. So they stopped contributing on stream. They stopped turning up the streams. In October, a month when I was playing the most new games of the year in 1 month, a month when I should have, by all logic, more viewers on the streams, probably more contribution, more everything, was the slowest month of 2018. Can you...
How did it affect viewers? That's what I don't get. Like, how would it affect the number of viewers? There were new games out. I would... Okay, there were new games out. I would get more viewers, but I didn't get more viewers because someone gave me money. I could see people donating less. Well, I don't really believe that, but maybe I could see people donating less. How would you get fewer viewers, though? Because someone gave you... Like, that doesn't make any sense.
believe that? The slowest month was the busiest month. The month that I streamed more, was playing more new games, spent more money on games than any other month, was the slowest month on Twitch because this guy completely derailed all of my momentum because of what he had done. Okay? So, it sucks. Okay? It absolutely sucks. And I had positive, great momentum going, and because of this one guy who, in the short term, did help me out, but in the long term screwed me over, everything got derailed. All right? Now, what I can tell you is that in November, I get slightly better. This month, December, even outside of the person who was very generous, who we'll talk about in a moment, Emerald 7, who dropped those sub bombs a couple weeks ago, even outside of him, this month on Twitch has been a great month. Okay? Profitable, great. If I had been able to stream this week, this might have ended up being overall the best month of the year on Twitch. The problem is I couldn't tell you that because I didn't stream for a week. So now it's kind of like not the best month because there's no way it could be because I didn't work.
Couldn't he just suck it up and stream like a couple times? I don't, even for a couple hours.
For a week, and it screwed me over in that regard when it came to income. But this month was a good month, okay? So that's good, and what I'm hoping is coming up in January, we're gonna have some downtime playthroughs, like I said, either Grand Theft Auto 3 or Dark Souls Remastered, paired in with new games like Ace Combat, paired in with the bigger new games at the end of the month like Resident Evil 2, Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm hoping we can keep that going. Then of course February, March, we've got tons of new games, which is we're gonna talk about in a future segment on the podcast here about 2019 coming up.
By the way, speaking of stuff coming up, who here is excited for Glass in the new year? I am so hyped to watch Glass. I can't wait for that movie to come out. The trailer makes it look absolutely amazing. I never thought I'd be this psyched over an M. Night Shyamalan film. But I loved Unbreakable. I loved Split. And it just looks really good. So I'm really looking forward to that.
So I think 2019 is going to be a great year, and as long as we can keep this stuff going the way it's going now, this month, we should have great momentum and should be good in 2019. The problem is, it really did put a big damper on things in October because that happened, okay? And that being said, financially, that's kind of why I'm in the situation I'm in. I'm going to explain other things like YouTube and other stuff behind the scenes in just a moment. But if I had kept consistently doing as well as I was doing on Twitch every month, I would have been good. But because I had basically a 2-month stagger, October, November, now I'm getting, for this month and next month, I'm getting like way less money than I need to even pay my bills. And, you know, there are a bunch of bills that overdrafted my account this month that now, that was like hundreds and hundreds of dollars that I needed. That was gone because of overdraft fees and stuff. Now I don't get paid by Twitch again until the 15th. And I'm screwed again because I don't have the funds because I didn't work for a week. So it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't, you know? Like, I don't know what to do to get this to settle into a situation where I'll be okay, except finally getting to a month.
Okay, top comment. Overall, I think you had a good year. Let's see here. Where's the thing where he says people stop talking about money? Oh, I think he deleted it. I think he deleted that comment because one of the top comments was stop talking about money. I think he got rid of it. Let me just refresh this and see if it's
I was
still
doing on
there.
Twitch every month, I would have been good.
Yeah, he deleted the fucking comment. That's funny.
Where I make enough to cover everything so I don't have this overlap every month where everything gets fucked over, okay? Now, let me talk a little bit about YouTube, because YouTube was really screwed up this year.
Yes, Glass is
Decent.
Samuel
The
Jackson's
first few months of the year were
character.
terrible with YouTube. I say like January, February, March, meh, really bad, slow, not a lot of income, no ads on YouTube. It's par for the course. Every year it's like that. But then it started to pick up again during the year. Keep in mind, I had this partnership with Curse, so I knew I was getting the best advertisements possible.
Battle Angel might be good. I'm looking forward to that too. That looks like a really interesting film. Next year might be a good year for movies.
Because Curse is a partnership network on YouTube that gives you the best ads, basically.
Okay, I'm gonna skip ahead a bit. This is boring as fuck.
I was talking with them with their tech support, trying to figure it out. They didn't know shit from shit.
Okay, let's skip ahead.
account. I've had a valid AdSense account for over 5+ years.
No, you haven't.
And by the way, I should bring this up. Even when the ads came back on YouTube, they're no.
Okay, I'm just gonna say with the whole thing to the whole thing related to his AdSense, that thing was all bullshit. Even if he had been banned for invalid click activity, when he called, even when he like had told people to click on his ads, like that was 6 years ago. It's petty to give him a lifetime ban over that. I don't see why he shouldn't be able to monetize his videos. It's bullshit. Also, him getting like removed from spam and all this other stuff, I think it was just nonsense.
As good as they used to be. I was making a certain level of income on YouTube every month, and now it's way less because I'm not with the partnership network anymore. So, and it's gone for good. There's nothing I can do about that. So I made just enough money from Tutankhamun to make up for the month of.
Is there really no other partnership companies on YouTube?
No ad revenue on YouTube at all, and kind of start to make up for the fact that the ad revenue has been lower ever since this all happened to me in the summer. So, just to recap, 2 fuck-ups from YouTube/Google and trolls fucking with me. This has nothing to do with the content I was putting out, nothing to do with the quality of streams or videos. It was all people fucking with me, okay? That's fucking frustrating, all right? And that's one of the major reasons why right now financially I'm in the situation I'm in, all right? In addition to that, if you guys know, Patreon, right? Patreon has always been a source of income for me, a supportive source.
I mean, yes, Drive Check, they don't want you to cheat their system, but their system's shit. So...
of income, where every month people pledge to my Patreon, and it helps me out because that's additional income for me, and you can earn perks and things via Patreon. Well, last year when I became a full-time streamer like I am now, I listened to your viewer feedback, and you guys told me
it was you. It was all your fault. The people who gave me like 80 grand a year
don't have Patreon goals anymore. They don't make sense. Instead, what you should do is you should have goals based off of sub count on Twitch. That's what everyone else does on Twitch who's a full-time streamer. Yes, they may have other things that are why things are messed up. Okay. 2017. By the end of the year, I had it under control. It was I could afford all of it on a monthly basis. I was doing my payments.
Okay, here we go. Okay.
And slowly make it go down, go down, go down, and then eventually I could refinance my house. And no one fucked with me. And I had nice.
Okay, here we go. This is the important part.
On Teespring, so it's complete.
Okay, he's talking about his income.
That's fucking frustrating. All right, and that's one of the major reasons why right now financially I'm in the situation I'm in. All right. In addition to that, if you guys know, Patreon, right? Patreon has always been a source of income for me, a supportive source of income. Where every month people pledge to my Patreon, and it helps me out because that's additional income for me, and you can earn perks and things via Patreon. Well, last year when I became a full-time streamer like I am now, I listened to your viewer feedback, and you guys told me don't have Patreon goals anymore. They don't make sense. Instead, what you should do is you should have goals based off of sub count on Twitch. That's what everyone else does on Twitch who's a full-time streamer.
Thank you.
Yes, they may have other things that are
And fuck you.
But you should, if you're gonna do really, hanker down, okay, and if you're gonna do full-time streaming, you gotta make everything based off streaming. So I did. Absolutely, I did. And I'll be honest, yes, streaming's been up, but Patreon has done this all year. Because basically people on Patreon feel if I'm going to contribute, I should go contribute on stream because I can get a shout out during the stream. I could contribute to have a monthly goal happen, and the support on Patreon is going down. So Twitch is going up, YouTube's going down, Patreon's going down. See, Teespring, honestly, is a non-fact.
2 things are going down and 1 thing's going up. It doesn't matter that the things that's going up is more than the 2 things that are going down combined. But yeah.
After this year, my Teespring store, I barely sold anything. I doubt I sold 50 items all year, and that's not an exaggeration. Probably the best month I had was during the summer when I relaunched one of my lines of product. I probably sold 10 items, but I doubt I sold 50 products this year. I only make about, on average, I think $3 to $7 profit per product. So you're maybe talking maybe I made a couple $100 this year on Teespring. So it's completely superfluous. If anything, Teespring merch is more of a fan service to you guys who want a nice collectible like 10 years of Dark Side Phil to wear because you like my content, and really doesn't help me at all income-wise. Okay. Now, that's business-wise how things are going. Now I got to tell you about some shitty stuff that happened to me financially this year, okay?
There's a difference between business and financial?
This really sucks because this is honestly one of the major reasons why things are messed up, okay? Here's why. This year, my debt, which I wanted to pay down, didn't get paid down because of all the shit I just told you about. If I didn't have giant hits to my Patreon, a giant hit to my YouTube income, and if my Twitch income had been going up the way it were, and no one fucked with me, and I had nice opportunities. For example, I had an opportunity earlier this year to have a chair sponsorship.
So in other words, if absolutely everything had gone correct, he'd be in a better situation. Well, that's just how life works, Phil. Not everything's going to go correct. You have to like factor in at least some margin of error. Like even like 1 out of 5 things is going to go poorly, and you have to make allowances and plans for that. But you only have a finance degree, so why would you know that?
And no, I'm not talking about the cheer sponsorship from a company that everyone says was a scam. I'm talking about the legitimate cheer sponsorship that I lost overnight because a bunch of trolls attacked the fuck out of me
Yeah, that was bullshit.
on their social media, and they said we don't want any association with this guy since he has all these people who follow him around. I'm talking about the fact that I can't do sponsored streams on Twitch anymore because the 2 that I did, the trolls went after the companies who made those games and spammed the fuck out of them and said, you know what, Phil's a pedophile and Phil's a racist and Phil's
When
a
you
priest
send
and Phil's this
me
and
a
Phil's that.
stupid email, you are actively sabotaging.
Regardless of the fact that they actually believe those people, don't want to be associated with that. If they're going to do a sponsored stream for their game, they want someone who's not going to bring negativity. I don't bring the negativity. These fucking people who false flag my YouTube channel, who attack my fucking...
How funny is it that I played this at 150% speed and it still feels slow?
And family members and do all this shit, they're the ones doing it. I have nothing to fucking do with it. I just sit here and play games all day. I don't know who these people are, what the fuck their mental problems are. They have done this to me this year, okay? So I actually had a ton of opportunities this year, okay, to do good stuff. Chair sponsorship, I actually had a bunch of other sponsorships I'm not even going to tell you guys from behind the scenes, as well as these sponsored streams that basically all fell through. And that was all money in my pocket I could have easily made that other streamers are making, I can't make because these fuckers do this sick shit to me, okay? So not only did I take a hit when it came to my YouTube, a hit when it came to my Patreon, okay? I couldn't get the sponsorship opportunities I definitely could have taken advantage of to do well.
Remember when he said that the army wanted to make him an officer?
All right. Basically, financially, the reason why I'm screwed is because I couldn't pay down my debt this year. I was hoping that I could pay down my debt and slowly make it go down, and then eventually I could refinance my house, all right? There's a few things going on right now in the American economy that many of you won't understand, especially if you don't live in the USA. Basically, the economy is fucked again, even though everyone says it's good, it's not. The Fed, which is the Federal Reserve, this is the governing body that controls a lot of things with the finances of our country, has raised interest rates 3 or more times. I haven't even updated, I know at least 3 times in the last fucking year. So that means any debt that I have, for example, credit card debt or a loan that may be an adjustable rate loan, all went up. So,
well, at some point they had to raise interest rates because I think interest rates have. Just give me a second. Let me look this up. We're going to talk about economics here for a minute. Let's see here. Federal. Because the interest rate has been basically at nothing since the financial crisis. Let me see what it is over time. Okay, so prior to the financial crisis, the federal interest rate was 5%. And for the last decade, it's been like a fraction of a percent. It's been like 0.1%. And no, they've raised it from 0.1% to like 1%, I think is how much they've raised it. Actually, maybe they've raised it a bit more than that. But the point is it's much lower than it was historically. Okay, so yeah, it's up to 2% now. So they have raised it, but it's nowhere near what it used to be. So like, here, give me a second. Let me just bring this up. Okay, so this is what the federal interest rate has looked like over the last couple of decades. So yeah, as you can see, it's historically been much higher than it is now. And at some point they had to raise it because the issue is if you're like me and you save a lot of your money, you don't really get anything for it. Now, I don't just save it, I have it invested in stuff. But a low interest rate means that overall you just make less money off of investments or savings, and it discourages people to save. And low credit also encourages people to take out money. So in the current economic situation, at some point they had to raise it to try to encourage people to save money and to stop taking out so much credit.
however,
like this dude, this is the perfect example of why they shouldn't have cheap credit, because this dude immediately irresponsibly took out a huge amount of loans the second he had any kind of credit.
that's kind of an RPG. That's something that would be, it would have to be kind of filler or balanced with something else. I couldn't do that as the main deal because I don't think.
Oh, oops. Okay, I went to the wrong one.
But because I had basically a 2-month stagger, October, November, now I'm getting, for this month and next month, I'm getting like way less money than I need to even pay my bills. And, you know, there are a bunch of bills that overdrafted my account this month that now, that was like hundreds and hundreds of dollars that I needed that was gone because of overdraft fees and stuff. Now I don't get paid by Twitch again until the 15th, and I'm screwed again because I don't have the funds because I didn't work for a week. So it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't, you know? Like, I don't know what to do to get this to settle into a situation where I'll be okay, except finally getting to a month where I make enough to cover everything so I don't have this overlap every month where everything gets fucked over, okay? Now, let me talk a little bit about YouTube, because YouTube was really screwed up this year, all right? We started off the year decent. The first few months of the year were terrible with YouTube. I say like January, February, March, meh, really bad, slow, not a lot of income, no ads on YouTube. It's par for the course. Every year it's like this. But then it started to pick up again during the year. Keep in mind, I had this partnership with Kurt.
I'm going to skip ahead
so
a
I
bit.
knew happening this year on YouTube was awful. DSP Gaming, my YouTube channel, was linked to this fucking account. Well, guess what?
He already talked about this.
At work. In June, late June, and saying false, 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 false. Needed to pay bills because of all that, all right? And it completely fucked me over. So that's why I'm telling you, with the streaming side of things with Tutankhamun, that was kind of a godsend, because if Tutankhamun hadn't showed up, all right, Google and trolls fucking with me.
Okay, let's go back
Google
a bit.
was a lazy fuck, because this was Google employees who fucked this up, not YouTube. And instead of doing it right, saying, oh, well, this guy's already with a partnership network, so freeze that account because it's not valid or not active, instead flagged it for the wrong reason, and it took me over 3 fucking weeks to get them to unfreeze it. So,
remember when he embarrassed that Google employee live on stream? That was a good decision.
3 days, my channel is down in June because YouTube fucked up behind the scenes with Google AdSense. Then, I lose my partnership with Curse, which means immediately I'm going to be making less money on YouTube. Then, Google fucks up behind the scenes and flags my channel incorrectly and makes it so I can't even get ads for over 3 weeks. So, between all that, I lost, I'm not exaggerating, thousands of dollars of money that I needed to pay bills because of all that.
Wait a minute. So, if it's 3 weeks and he lost thousands of dollars, then his contention is that he makes $1,000 a week on YouTube, or is my English wrong? Like, because if he didn't have it for 3 weeks, and he makes thousands of dollars a week, so he did have it for 3 weeks. He lost thousands of dollars, which implies to me he makes like 750 to X number of dollars a year. So what? How many weeks are in the year? 48. So he makes $50,000 a year off of YouTube.
All right, and it completely fucked me over. So that's why I'm telling you, with the streaming side of things with Tutankhamun, that was kind of a godsend, because if Tutankhamun hadn't showed up, all right, then basically I wouldn't have been able to make up for that. Basically, all that money, and this is hilarious because this is what people say, the negative people. Well, Phil made so much money in the summer, there's no way he could possibly have any financial problems. Wrong. The money I made in the summer, extra from Tutankhamun, was enough to make up for the fact that I was making no money on YouTube for such an extended period of time. And by the way, I should bring this up, even when the ads came back on YouTube, they're nowhere near as good as they used to be. I was making a certain level of income on YouTube every month, and now it's way less because I'm not with the partnership network anymore. So, and it's gone for good. There's nothing I can do about that. So I made just enough money from Tutankhamun to make up for the month of no ad revenue on YouTube at all, and kind of start to make up for the fact that the ad revenue's been lower ever since this all happened to me in the summer. So, just to recap, 2 fuck-ups from YouTube/Google, and trolls fucking with me. This has nothing to do with the content I was putting out, nothing to do with the quality of streams or videos. It was all people fucking with me. Okay? That's fucking frustrating. All right, and that's one of the major reasons why right now financially I'm in the situation I'm in. All right. In addition to that, if you guys know, Patreon, right? Patreon has always been a source of income for me, a supportive source of income, where every month people pledge to my Patreon, and it helps me out because that's additional income for me, and you can earn perks and things via Patreon. Well, last year when I became a full-time streamer like I am now, I listened to, if I'm going to contribute, I should go contribute on stream because I can get a shout out during the stream. Okay. Now, that's business-wise how things are going. Now I got to tell you about some shitty stuff that happened to me financially this year, okay? This really sucks, because this is honestly one of the major reasons why things are messed up, okay? Here's why. This year, my debt, which I wanted to pay down, didn't get paid down because of all the shit I just told you about.
I thought he already talked about this.
If I didn't have giant hits to my Patreon, a giant hit to my YouTube income, and if my Twitch income had been going up the way it were, and no one fucked with me, and I had nice opportunities. For example, I had an opportunity.
Okay, I think I rewatching stuff.
That I was hoping I wouldn't be in the financial position I'm in right now. So I'll give you an example. Years ago, I racked up my credit cards when I first moved out here to furnish the house.
Okay, here we go. Let's go back a bit.
Our debt, and my debts on a monthly basis went from this much. So even though I'm paying down, interest rate goes up, I owe more. And now my payments, I'm not even kidding you, on all my credit card debt this year. Last year, 2017, by the end of the year, I had it under control. I could afford all of it on a monthly basis. I was doing my payments. I could afford everything. No problems. I didn't have any overdrafts. Everything was good. Then all
Does anybody like remember last year? I thought he was begging for money last year too.
of a sudden, 2018 hits. Oh, your credit card payments are doubling. Huh? Why? Oh, because the Fed raised the interest rate 3 times in the last year, so we have to adjust for that, and we expect they're going to do it again. So all your credit card payments are now doubled. And I'm not trying to be like, exaggerating or like Chicken Little, the sky is falling. I have a lot of credit card debt, and my debts on a monthly basis went from this much of how much I pay a month to this much. So this was hundreds.
I mean, from my understanding, and this is just something my parents did, is they had some credit card debt, so they took out just a normal loan. I think it's called a power line or something. But the interest rate, I think, is like 1% over prime, so it's like 3 or 4%. And they just use that to pay off all their credit card debt and higher interest debt. And I mean, credit card debt is what, like 20+% versus 3%. So that made it a lot more manageable. So the fact that this dude put all the money on his credit cards was not a good idea.
If not thousands of dollars a month that I was using to do things like pay my taxes that I don't have anymore because
I buy most stuff on credit card, but I pay off my credit cards every month. So it's not really an issue. If anything, having a credit card and paying it off every month is a good thing because that helps your credit rating a lot.
doubled my payments because the interest rates went up on everything. Okay? It completely fucked me over. The only people who this benefits are people who have a ton of money in savings, which is no one. No one in America has a lot of money in savings besides the fucking rich.
Not a single person in the U.S. has any money in savings. Not a single person. Not a single person has any money. Now, as you people know, I'm more sympathetic than just about everyone to how high the cost of living is, how just fucked people are in general, how corporations are dicks, how wages are not going as fast as inflation. I'm more sympathetic to anyone, but there are people who, on their account, live within their means, as shitty as that is, who make sacrifices so that they aren't in debt, who do have money saved, Phil. And as big as an issue as the low interest rates are, raising the interest rates are for other people, it's punishing people who are trying to be financially responsible despite the bad times they're in. Because their money is literally losing money as it sits in the bank because interest rates are so low. I have my money invested, but most investment portfolios have a substantial amount of government bonds in them and money markets and that kind of thing. And if the interest rate's low, you don't make any money off of that. So it's bad, but a big issue is a lot of people just live beyond their means. They buy houses they can't afford. They take trips they can't afford, etc. Like I admit, I took 2 trips overseas in the last year. I took one to Spain, I took one to Britain, and both of those were fairly expensive. I was pretty conservative with the hotels I stayed at and the flight I got, etc. That was a lot of money, but I had money saved to pay for that, so I didn't incur any debt. So, like, you shouldn't be incurring debt like that you can't pay off for luxury items. Now, sometimes it might be a good idea. Like, let's say it's like you're not paying any interest in it and you think it's better to just pay it over time. That's fine, but you shouldn't be paying interest on luxury items.
Everyone else has gotten fucked over by having interest rates go up. So I got screwed. I got totally screwed. In addition, there were things that I did over the years that I was hoping I wouldn't be in the financial position I'm in right now. So I'll give you an example. Years ago, I racked up my credit cards when I first moved out here to furnish the house. And then, as you guys know, so many...
Barry Plum Fishing says that I came to his town in Dover in the UK a couple weeks back. Dover is one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. I think that would honestly be like the highlight of my trip to the UK. Seeing the White Cliffs. It was absolutely amazing.
Things happened over the years with trolling in 2015, the apocalypse last year. I basically had to keep racking up my fucking credit cards, which I didn't want to do. But what I would do is I would use a credit card that has like the promotional rate of 0% for a year and a half. Then when that expired, I would transfer it to another credit card that had a promotional rate for a year and a half. Well, guess what? In 2018, all the promotional rates ran out. So credit cards that I was paying 0% interest on now went to 15% interest, and my credit card payment doubled again. So not only did the Fed raise the interest rate,
That doesn't sound like a very good plan, Phil. Just constantly getting new credit cards and switching it from card to card. Like, it's just.
My interest went up again, compounded. So I was at a good level, but because people will not stop fucking with me, all right? They fuck over my opportunities for sponsorship. They fuck over my YouTube channel, my YouTube ad revenue. They try to fuck me on Twitch and get me banned. They try to fuck me every which way possible. I keep losing money, and because of that, I can't keep up with all the obligations that I have, all right? Now, what I was hoping for this year was to be able to refinance my home. And for those who don't know what that means, it means that my house here in Washington is worth more than what I paid for it 4.5 years ago. In fact, it's worth a lot more, okay? I went to an agent. I talked to an agent about this. They gave me an estimate.
By the way, sir, I like to talk about financial stuff because it interests me. For those of you who live in Canada, there's something called a tax-free savings account. If you've been over 18 for a couple of years, then you get 5,000. I think it's 5,500 a year. And 1 year when the Conservatives were in power, you got $10,000. So I guess in my case, I have like $60,000 in contribution room, and any money that's in your tax-free savings account, whatever you earn on that money is tax-free. So if I were to put the full $60,000 in, the market went up tomorrow, and I made $100,000 from that 60,000, I would not have to pay any taxes on it. I could cash out and take that money and do whatever I wanted with it because I've already paid taxes on it before I put it in. And the Conservative government introduced that as a way of, I think it was the Conservative government. It might have been a Liberal government. I don't remember. But it was introduced as a way, Argent, I have one, but I used the savings for my new place. There's nothing wrong with using the money to buy something. Well, you used it to buy a house or to rent a house. That's fine. I'm not saying you have to save. There's lots of ways you can invest your money. If anything, if I use the money from it to pay down a mortgage, then that's good in the long term because you're not paying as much interest. But just people in Canada who have the opportunity to get a TFSA, I would recommend whenever you start making money, I use Wealthsimple. Get like a nice ETF, automated investor, and just even if you put in $5, $10, $20 a week, that'll add up over time. And it's good to have that little nest egg there. Like I said, most people can afford like $5, $10, $20 a week, even if you aren't particularly well off. And it'll really help you out in the long term.
My home is worth. And they said, what you need to go do is go home and get us all of this information, okay? And based on this information, we'll tell you if you qualify for the refinance. If I could qualify for the refinance, what they would do is take all these credit card debts and shit that I have that basically make it unable to pay my bills on a monthly basis anymore and put them into the mortgage at a much lower interest rate because I have the value in my house to do it. And all the credit card debt would go away, so immediately my payments would go way down by thousands of dollars a month to help me out. My credit score would go up because credit card debt is absolutely terrible for your credit score, all right?
Now, some of the people I know who have a second mortgage who do it responsibly is what they'll do is they'll buy a rental property with a mortgage, and the rent from the property will cover the mortgage. It'll often cover the mortgage plus a bit more. So let's say you buy like a house. Detroit's a good place, like the suburbs of Detroit. I know some people who own some rental properties there. Let's say you buy a rental property in Detroit for like 60 grand. You can get a decent like lower middle class home in a white suburb for that much, where people actually pay their rent. You might have to spend 10 grand to fix it up, and you can rent it out for like $1,000 a month, maybe $1,200 a month, and plus utilities. And let's say the mortgage is $800 a month. You're cash flow positive, and you're paying the mortgage down, so you're getting equity in the house. And property values gradually go up over time with inflation. So that's like a responsible way, and then you can always resell the house. So that's fine to get a mortgage in that case. And if you have a steady income that can afford it, the issue is he didn't have a steady income that could afford it.
And everything would be going good, all right? But sadly, what ended up happening was I went there and they said, well, you need 2 years of tax returns showing a certain level of income. What I had was 2016.
By the way, I hope some of the financial advice I've given out has been helpful to people over the years. It's something that really interests me a lot.
2016 and 2017, if you guys don't know, 2016, I didn't do so well financially. Things actually went down a lot in 2016 financially. 2017, when I started doing full-time streaming, they actually went up. This year, 2018, things continued on the upward trend, like I just told you. So if I could show that for 2 years of increased income, I might qualify for the refinance. The problem is my tax returns won't be done for this year, 2018, until like April of 2019. So after knowing this and showing the agent what I had, they said, sadly, you don't qualify at this point. Maybe eventually you will, but at this point, sadly, you don't because, you don't have 2 years of showing the level of income you need to qualify for the refinance. Okay?
Savage Lars says the suburbs of Atlanta are another good example. My family bought a few houses for under $100,000 and have been making bank from rent. Yeah, because a lot of people just bought multiple houses that they couldn't afford, and when the property market crashed, the people might have a fairly stable income actually, so that they can pay it. You just have to be very careful with. Don't call it advice. You aren't a professional. Okay. Suggestions. Okay. I'm not a professional, at least not on the internet.
So this sucks. I'm in a financial situation where my Twitch is going up and doing well, okay, and everything else is down. Patreon, Teespring, and YouTube, and I have no control over any of those. Like, I don't really think I could change the quality of what I put out. How could I get more people to pledge to Patreon when my focus is the streams and the streams are doing good? I can't now clone myself to have someone do patron exclusive projects in order to make things go well on Patreon. You see what I mean? So I'm kind of stuck where I am, and I just need to keep plugging away what I'm doing. Now, some people have said some of the most asinine, stupid shit in 2018, like, why don't you just get another job?
Like, there's nothing wrong with taking out loans if you need to buy capital. Like, if you need to buy a house, you need to buy equipment for your business, you need a car, because in a lot of cases you need a car. It's not a want. It's not a nice to have. You need one to work. And that's all fine. The issue is he took it out for no clear reason.
I'm sorry. I know some people are just trying to help, but sometimes people are just really fucking stupid. I just explained to everyone, this year I made the most money, streaming that I ever had. Things are on the up. I'm making good money streaming. The problem is that I'm not making good money. The problem is my debt has actually grown exorbitantly because of interest rates and expiring promotional rates. So if I get another job outside of this and I stream less, I will make less money streaming and make money on a job that will not pay as much as the streaming. So I would make less money. How does that help me? And the answer is it doesn't.
You pay less taxes.
It's stupidity. It's the dumbest suggestion you could possibly have.
Wow.
Okay? Now, some people have said, why don't you just sell your house? It's a combination of reasons why I don't want to do that. The first is because, as I just told you guys, this year I really built an amazingly positive life with Kat here. We love this house. This is all we ever want. We don't want anything more than this. We don't want anything bigger than what we have right now. If we can just keep what we have for the rest of our lives, we'd be fucking happy. I'm not even kidding. We'd be happy. And the fact of the matter is, if I had to sell this house, number one, I don't have the money to do it because I would need money to clean up the house, redo the certain rooms to get it ready, put it on the market, have it sit there. I wouldn't be able to stream as much because if people want to come in for open houses or whatever, right? The house has to be available to be shown. It basically would hinder everything. I would make less money because I wouldn't be able to work as much trying to sell the house, and I would have to somehow find a way to finance to get this house cleaned up so that I could sell it, which I don't have the money for. Okay. Number two, I would have to find a place out here, basically an apartment, where I could do this work. I could get just as good internet as I have here, which I don't know if I'd be able to. I could do this work, this full-time streaming from there. Remember all the problems I had back in Connecticut?
How many hours a week does it take for people to come in and look at your house? Isn't that like once or twice a day for like half an hour maybe?
When I used to do this as a job, and you see what I mean? Like, you see all the internet issues I used to have, and that was when I was a full-time streamer. That was, if the streaming didn't work, oh well, I'll just do videos for YouTube. I can't do that anymore. I have to be streaming every day to make a living. So I have to do it in an apartment complex. You can't do that because it's shared internet from everyone in the apartment complex. I know because I used to do it in Connecticut at the old condo I used to have. And all they'll do is give you excuses and blow smoke up your ass, and they'll never fix it. So I'll end up in an apartment complex where the internet's shoddy and things aren't going to go well. Okay. Plus moving. I mean, you're talking selling all the shit in this house somehow. I don't know where I'm going to have the time or expertise to do that. Moving from one place to another. You're talking months of work, months of suffering, stress, pain for two people here who are already overstressed, to the point where we're working, as much as we can to just make ends meet. Now you want me to stop that, to stress myself out more, to try to sell the house, to move into a smaller place and think it's going to go smoothly. Ultimately, what would happen is...
Like, I'm going to say this now. Phil makes more than twice as much I do a year. Even including YouTube, he makes more than twice as much as I do a year. He should, and his living costs are a lot lower than mine, and he pays way lower taxes than I do. His net income's probably more than three times what I make a year. So he should be like making bank and having huge amounts of, yeah.
If I were to sell this house, I'd probably be able to pay off a lot of my debt. But the problem would be, guess what? This is another thing no one wants to talk about. When you sell a house, the United States government considers that sale profit. So even though I may sell this house and make some profit, the government wants taxes on that. So 1/3 of the profit that I would have made selling the house goes to the feds. So now I don't have as much money as you think I'm going to have selling this house. I probably can't pay off all my debt.
Okay, you can't pay off all of it, but you can pay off a lot of it and dramatically reduce your monthly payments and interest so you can pay off the rest faster.
And I'm not in a good position anymore, okay? So in reality, all right, in reality, there's no easy answer to the situation. What I would like to do, this is what I want to do, okay? By the way, please, mods, if you're here, please start banning these people. There's so many negative people in the stream chat basically say, oh, Phil's a liar, Phil's this. Oh, look, Phil's talking about this on the stream. Even though I said this is one segment of the podcast, these idiots are coming and being negative. Please, mods, take care of this because I can't do it by myself. I can't sit here and talk while doing this, okay? But anyway, the bottom line is, here's what I want to happen. First of all, being very honest with all of you. Right now, because of the help that Emerald 7 gave me with those gifted subs, okay, earlier this month, I'll see some of that income. I'll see that in February. That's going to help a big chunk of the federal taxes that I owe come April. Okay? Phew, thank God, because I haven't paid any of them. I haven't had any money to pay.
Phil is literally like one of the luckiest people of all time. Like when he's fucked, people literally just show up and give him money. It's amazing.
Right? What I'm hoping is that between now and April, I can see significant amount of support coming out of the streams, and maybe I can get a little bit more, you know, we're working on stuff behind the scenes here. Cat's working on stuff. We're doing as much as we possibly can to make as much money as we can to pay these taxes coming up in April. The ideal state would be this, okay? We could pay it all. I pay all the taxes I owe by April. We're good to go in that regard, okay? And then this year, once my tax returns are done, I can go back to, say, this mortgage agent and say, I now have 2 years of tax returns. Hopefully my home value's gone up even more since the last time we talked, you know, last year. Can we now sit down with these 2 years of tax returns showing you the increased income that I have? Can I qualify for the refinance? All right. Worst case scenario, they say no, maybe another year. Because the thing is, I told you guys, I'm on an upward trend. I actually am on an upward trend of income. The problem
I thought he was on a downward trend. That's what he said.
is the debt I owe is so ginormous that it doesn't matter how much I'm making, I can't pay off the debt.
The debt, where did that come from? Where did he, like, where did this debt, like, he just has debt. It's just something that happened to him. It just came out of nowhere.
Goddamn debt as it is. I need this refinance to happen, okay? Now, of course, there'll be a million other people saying a million other things. Phil has a condo, and his old condo in Connecticut, he doesn't rent. Just so you guys know, I'm constantly working that stuff. All right, I am. I'm constantly working that stuff behind the scenes. I am. And I just don't talk about it, because unless there's good news, why the hell would anyone ever say to me, I just got completely distracted. Why would I tell you guys about stuff I'm working on if it's not going to come out positively, right? I do have a condo in Connecticut I'm stuck with. It's a money pit. That's the condo I lived in from 2009 until 2014 when I moved here. I can't sell it because I got it for a certain amount of money. The mortgage is way up here and the condo's only worth way down here. I don't have $40,000 to pay the rest of this mortgage so I can sell the condo. And it's a drain on my finances every fucking month. It's terrible. I'm working towards possibly being able to maybe rent that out. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, you know. I'm always working this stuff. Sadly, for 2.5 years I've been trying, and I haven't gotten any positive movement there. The bottom line is over there in Connecticut, the housing market is terrible. Here it's good in Washington. Connecticut, it's awful. It's some of the worst in the entire fucking country. So I can't find anyone reliable to rent it for me and screen people, find people who are reliable, who will actually pay and do all the...
Just get a property management company.
So I can't find anyone, okay? I can't. So it sucks ass. It sucks total ass that this is happening. And I'm working on it. If I have positive, movement in that regard this year, coming up 2019, I'll let you know. But for now, it is what it is. I'm stuck in the situation I am. I need to get past April, and then another year, see how it goes. Can I refinance? If not, again, it's going to be kind of the same hurdle every year until I can refinance. Eventually, I'm going to be able to refinance. It's just a matter of time of the home value going up and my income going up to be able to qualify for it, okay? So that's what I need to do. Worst case scenario would be if I get stuck and I have to sell this place, because it would be massive stress. It would be loss of a place where I've worked my ass off to earn, a life that I've now built for a year with Kat and had a really nice year with, okay, that we don't want to lose. So much stress and just pain and anger, having to leave and sell everything, and also not streaming. I would not be able to stream like I'm doing now. I just wouldn't. These are business hours when I would have to be working with mortgage agents and people coming in to see the house and everything, finding money to somehow redo the house. You see what I mean? Like, it's just not going to happen unless it's a worst case scenario and I'm absolutely forced to do it. That's the last thing I do. But I have to do my best. I have to do my best to stay here, okay? All right. So, all that being said, 2018 was a great year. Content-wise, the streams are better than ever. Sadly, it was the actions of assholes. Again, fucking my YouTube channel over completely, losing all these... Imagine if I were able to get that chair sponsorship, if I were able to do sponsored streams every week, extra money every single week. But it's all taken from me, from the pieces of shit these fucking pieces of shit who all they want to do is ruin my life, even though I don't know who they are. I've never hurt them. And it's funny because at one point they would try to justify what they do by saying, well, Phil does this immoral thing and that immoral thing. And then you look at the streams this year, like, well, Phil doesn't promote negativity on his streams anymore. He stopped in this month of December. This month of January I can get through because what happened in October screwed me over and I didn't work for a weekend.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have one more completely despicable thing. And we are going to watch Phil use his parents to beg for money yet again.
It would hold as much attention as, say, another kind of style of game. So, Murdoch just gave me $20. Wow, thank you very much, Murdoch. Says, you're just at midnight here in Germany. I wish you and all your viewers a happy 2019. Keep on being awesome. Thank you very much, Murdoch. You are the top tipper of the day. So thank you very much for that. Let's get you up on the leaderboard. I mentioned it very early on today's stream. The best way to help me out would be tipping. I don't know how many of you maybe weren't here early on in the stream.
Hey, Murdoch. I sometimes like your animations. I don't know. I don't like them as much as a lot of people do, but...
Because I really do need your support right now with bills and everything going on. I already explained that in my last segment. I don't even know how I'm going to pay my bills in January. I'm being very honest with you. I'm kind of relying on people kind of helping me in the next week or two with tips. So thank you, Murdoch, very much for that generous tip. Go straight to bills.
I thought he said that he could pay them because of Emerald 7.
This week, okay? Ruby Atomic says, how about a fun paper, RPG, or mystery stream? People do them on Switch. They are great for teamwork. I don't know what that means. Paper RPG. I'll try to pair these suggestions in with what I wanted, to be honest with you. I told them I was doing this podcast today, and they said, yes, please go ahead and tell them whatever you want.
Okay, here we go.
For right now, personally,
Okay, let's go ahead. Okay, here we go. Time for some sleaze.
I'll try to pair these suggestions in with the new releases. Now, a couple of very quick things, guys, because I think we will have time to do a Q&A here right now, but what I want to do is tell you a little bit about personal stuff going on in 2019. I've only alluded to some of this previously, and I do want to talk about this publicly because there is some stuff going on in my life right now personally that I have really not mentioned a lot that I do need to bring up now, okay? And please understand this is very personal to me. This is very private, but it's something that I want to bring up because it's a serious matter, all right? So...
I thought he wasn't going to share anything with us.
In 2019, at some point, whether sooner or later, I'm going to end up having to go back to Connecticut. I talked to my parents about this, and they told me that I could 100% talk to you guys about it and reveal anything I wanted, to be honest with you. I told them I was doing this podcast today, and they said, yes, please go ahead and tell them whatever you want.
Like when Leanna said he could do anything, he could talk about her going to the hospital, and then she immediately broke up with him.
My parents aren't doing so well, all right? They're getting old, and my mom has had a lot of health issues over the years already. The last few years, you guys noticed I haven't really talked about my dad that much. It's because he's not doing very well. My dad is getting a lot of health issues. Both his back, which he basically has, remember my back issue, my herniated disc? Well, he has at least 2, if not 3, in the same situation that I had. So he's really fucked up right now and can barely move around. He's been like this for about 2 years now. And now he's starting to have other health problems. He's starting to have heart problems, okay? So it's a bad situation. It's really bad.
Hint, hint, save my dad.
And the thing is, my parents are basically telling me, listen, we don't know what's going to happen. We could be around for many more years, or one of us could see a really bad turn for the worse. And that's it, okay? You may have wondered where my parents been, because if you remember when I first moved out here in 2014, they immediately visited me for Christmas of 2014, and then they visited me again in the summer of 2016, remember? And you might be saying, well, what the hell now? It's been like 2.5 years, we've heard nothing about Phil's parents. Well, the bottom line is, they're not doing very well, at all, okay? And immediately you get a dickhead like ITG Jake. I'm going to read it because I've had enough and he's permanently banned now. Do you want us to give you money to see your parents? Fuck you, Jake. How about that? Fuck you. No, because you don't wait 5 seconds to
But he is begging for it.
let me finish what I'm saying. Now, not only are you permanently banned, but now we all get to laugh at you publicly for being an insensitive piece of fucking shit when I'm bearing my heart to the fucking stream. Go fuck yourself. No, I'm not asking anyone for money to go to Connecticut to see my parents. In fact,
Yes, you are. That's what the whole thing is.
it's the actual complete polar opposite situation, okay? My parents have basically told me that since, this is a circumstance where they absolutely, not only obviously do they want to spend time with me, they want to meet Kat. Kat has lived with me for almost a year, and I'll be very honest with all of you, I would love to marry her someday. I have no idea if that's in the cards with everything, the way things have been going financially and everything, but obviously I've told my parents this, and they're like, we want to meet her. Like, this is amazing. We want to meet her and spend time with her. Kat is a cat lover. My parents own 3 cats who she would like
They never wanted to meet Panda Lee, apparently.
to meet, obviously. And basically, it's a situation where
Remember how his parents didn't want to come out when he got engaged? Yeah.
No, this is not, no way, okay? Is this the best time for this to happen, for me to take time away from work and streaming? it's basically at this point a necessity, a make or break. If I don't go to visit my parents sometime in 2019, I may never see them again. You see what I mean? And maybe one or both, I don't know. They don't know. You know, they're basically telling me we have health issues and we want to see you and we want to meet Kat and we want to spend time with you. You know, and it's not going to be a long time. I already told my parents, I said, you know, if this happens, you know, it can't be a long time. I can't be away from work that long. I have to keep making money. And they said, we understand that. Even if it's just a few days, that would be great. So we can meet Kat. And then they even said, you know, this would be good for you. Take Kat around Connecticut for a day or two and show her your old haunts. Take her to the zoo, show her the old places you used to like to go shopping and that kind of stuff. So she can see where I came from, which would be really awesome. But also she'd get to meet my parents and spend time with the cats and just have some family time. Because we don't know, honestly, if we'll ever get to have it. You know, my parents felt this so bad they can't even come out here to see me, which sucks. And it really is sad because I thought, years ago when they visited me, it might have been one of the last times, but then their health got even worse after that. And I'm just like, you know, with everything else going around, everything else happening, with all the stress and everything going on, this is something that has to happen, you know. And it was funny because I was actually talking to my mom about this on the phone. I said, you know, it would really suck if we come out there, we visit you guys, and we come back home and immediately the next thing I have to do is like sell the house. But if that has to be, I guess it has to be. You know what I mean? So just for pure transparency here,
I love how he's like he was guilting his mom.
I and Kat will be paying none of this trip if and when it happens. We're hoping it will happen. I already talked to my parents. They said, we're going to take care of it. We understand your financial situation. We couldn't ask for you to pay for any of this stuff. And we will, you know, whether...
What a fucking cunt. Like, what a fucking piece of... Why is he telling us this? Like, why is he telling us that his parents are paying for this? Like, I think most people would be like, look, your parents are sick. You got to go take care of them. I, for one, would not really... I don't think I would really care that much if he... How much is it even to fly to Connecticut? I doubt it's that expensive. Washington to... Like, I don't think that many people would criticize him for being able to... For having to go there to speak with his parents. Okay, so Seattle to Connecticut is $450 Canadian. So it's really like not that much money at all. At least I think that's Canadian. Yeah, so it's not really that expensive to go to Connecticut. It's like one stream. But what a fucking like piece of shit for talking about this.
You need a hotel room. I don't know if we'll be staying with them. I don't know how the house accommodations are with all of them or whatever. Or we're gonna be able to borrow their car, or we're gonna get a rental car. I don't know. We haven't worked any of this shit out yet. This is, you know, we just started talking about it last month, and now it looks like probably sometime in January we'll start talking more specifics of a time frame and all of that. We're actually looking at possible time frames this spring. I'll just say that the spring, because it looks like there's some dead times for game releases in the spring. And if it's in the spring, Kat would have time to take time off ahead of time to do it as well, which would be good, rather than her getting in trouble at her job for trying to take time off and stuff like that. So basically, yeah, what we're looking at is probably a few days to a week, that sometime in 2019 we're going to be probably going back to Connecticut for just to spend some time with my parents, so Kat can get to know my parents, to show Kat Connecticut or whatever. And that'll honestly, for me, kind of be some closure, because when my parents left here in mid-2016, I was in a very different living situation. It was a very different situation then, and since then, obviously, so much has changed, and I really, really want them to meet Kat and spend time with Kat, because she's been such an amazing person to me in my life, and I think that they deserve to meet someone who I want to spend the rest of my life with. And it's just something so serious that, yeah, it has to happen this year at the latest, because my parents are saying we're at the point where maybe this would be the last chance, because we don't know what's going to happen. So, without revealing too many other details...
Maybe this would be the last chance. Right. Guys, this is the last chance. You gotta give me money so I can go to Connecticut, or my parents might die before I get back. Just while he's doing this, I'm looking up how much this would actually cost. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so the cheapest one I can find... Actually, let's move this ahead a bit, because it's going to be really expensive if it's early in the year. So let's see how much this would be in March. He can leave on any day, so we'll say he leaves on a Wednesday. And we'll give him a week, and let's see how much this is.